So the strawberry that you sliced into your yogurt this morning, um, it isn't actually a berry.
No, it's really not.
In fact, botanically speaking, it isn't even a single fruit. So welcome to your custom-tailored deep dive. Our mission today is to take your notes on this, deceptively simple spring produce item and basically strip away its whole dessert-topping whipped cream stereotype.
Yeah, and it is a much needed mission, honestly, because the sources you provided, they reveal that this ubiquitous red staple is actually, well, it's a masterclass in evolutionary deception and cellular defense.
Right.
We are looking at a biochemical profile so profoundly complex that, the culinary world has essentially misunderstood its function for centuries.
Yeah, reading through the research, the best way I can describe the strawberry is that it's like a dietary Trojan horse.
Oh, I love that.
Right, because it presents itself as this completely harmless, sweet, innocent little garnish. But secretly, the moment it crosses your taste buds, it smuggles this entire army of potent disease-fighting compounds straight into your bloodstream.
Exactly. The strawberry uses its aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
the vibrant color, the conical shape, that tart sweetness, to completely disguise a biological payload that actively defends the human heart, stabilizes metabolic function, and literally shields the brain from cognitive decline.
It's wild.
It is. And to understand the sheer scale of this botanical rebellion, we really have to start by dissecting its physical structure.
Yeah.
Because, as the sources point out, the fundamental architecture of a strawberry is just a complete fabrication.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because if the red juicy part we are all eating isn't a berry, and it isn't even a single fruit, what exactly are we putting in our smoothies? I mean, if I'm eating a strawberry, is the entire culinary world just ignoring botanical science for the sake of convenience?
Pretty much, yeah. To a botanist, a true berry, so think like a blueberry, a cranberry, or even a tomato, it develops from a single flower's ovary.
Right.
And a non-negotiable characteristic of a true berry is that it holds its seeds on the inside of the fruit's fleshy wall.
Okay, inside.
Right. But the strawberry breaks every single one of those structural rules. That red, swollen, juicy flesh that we crave, it's actually just the enlarged receptacle of the flower.
The receptacle.
Yeah. Essentially, it is a highly modified, swollen stem designed to function as this biological cushion.
Wait, a swollen stem, which means those tiny yellow specks covering the outside aren't just, seeds sitting on the surface of a fruit.
No, they are the actual fruits.
Are you serious?
I am. Each one of those microscopic specks on the exterior is a separate individual dry fruit called an achene.
Like Shane.
Yeah, an achene. And inside each one of those tiny dry fruits is the single actual seed. So when you take a bite of a strawberry, you are consuming hundreds of individual microscopic fruits that are just embedded in a swollen floral stem.
That is crazy. I am basically eating a microscopic fruit mosaic.
You really are.
But, a plant doesn't develop an elaborate structural disguise like that by accident. I imagine there's a serious, evolutionary survival reason that it spends so much metabolic energy engineering a fake fleshy cushion just to hold tiny dry fruits on the outside.
Oh, absolutely. And what's fascinating here is Mother Nature's incredible sense of humor in engineering this bizarre structure. The plant's ultimate directive is to spread its genetic material as far as possible, right?
Right. Survival of the fittest.
Exactly. So it evolved this brilliantly enticing, fragrant, bright red swollen stem precisely to manipulate the behavior of animals and humans.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, the plant leverages our craving for sugar and hydration. We eat the swollen stem, and in doing so, we inadvertently consume and transport hundreds of those tiny dry fruits, the apians, to completely new locations. It is a structural trick that just guarantees the survival of the species.
Wow. And if the physical architecture of the strawberry is this trick to lure us in, the nutritional payload it hides inside is, well, it's the reward that keeps us coming back. Because usually, when we think of a massive influx of antioxidants, we are culturally conditioned to look at a completely different category of produce.
Right. We immediately think of citrus, oranges, grapefruits, lemons.
Yeah, we've been trained by decades of marketing to reach for a glass of orange juice the absolute second we feel a scratch in our throat.
Myth.
But the source material completely dethrones citrus here.
It really does.
Just 1 cup of fresh strawberries contains over 100% of your recommended daily intake of vitamin C, which frequently outpaces the density found in oranges.
It's incredible. Gram for gram, the swollen receptacle of the strawberry is an absolute powerhouse of ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C.
Right.
And we really need to move beyond the basic understanding of vitamin C merely being like, good for your immune system. At a cellular level, vitamin C operates as a premier water-soluble antioxidant.
Let's linger on the mechanics of that for a second. Because antioxidant is printed on practically every juice bottle in the grocery store, but understanding the biological rust happening inside our bodies makes that term much more tangible.
Oh, biological rust is the perfect visual.
Thanks.
Because inside your body, cellular metabolism naturally produces these unstable molecules called free radicals. And these molecules are missing an electron, which makes them highly volatile and incredibly reactive.
So they're basically looking for a replacement electron.
Exactly.
Mm.
They aggressively bounce around your bloodstream and tissues, actively attempting to tear an electron away from your healthy cells, so your cell membranes, your proteins, even your DNA.
Jeez.
Yeah, and this microscopic theft causes structural failure in the cell. We call that oxidative stress. And over time, that cumulative cellular damage is the primary driver of tissue degradation and biological aging.
And because the vitamin C from our Trojan horse strawberry is water-soluble, it can basically just immediately flood the watery environments of our cells and our bloodstream to intervene.
Exactly. It permeates those vulnerable tissues and acts as a willing electron donor.
Get it?
Yeah, the vitamin C molecule gladly hands over its own electron to neutralize that volatile free radical before it can rip open a healthy cell membrane. But the mechanism goes even deeper than that.
How so?
Well, the human body cannot synthesize collagen without a massive, continuous supply of vitamin C serving as a structural catalyst.
Okay, we usually hear about collagen in the context of, like, skin elasticity and avoiding wrinkles, but I'm assuming the body's using that scaffolding for far more critical infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely. Collagen is the literal rebar in the concrete of your physical body.
Rebar, okay.
Yeah, it provides the structural scaffolding for your joints, your tendons, and critically, the walls of your blood vessels.
Oh, wow.
Your vascular network has to withstand immense pumping pressure from your heart every single second of your life. Without sufficient vitamin C facilitating constant collagen repair, those blood vessels become brittle and highly prone to rupture.
So it's keeping the pipe strong, basically. But usually, securing that kind of immense fruit-based vitamin C payload comes with a fairly severe metabolic penalty.
Right, the sugar.
Exactly. Most tropical fruits that deliver that level of sweet satisfaction are just packed with heavy fructose. But the data in our notes shows the strawberry is remarkably low on the glycemic index.
It is. A single cup of whole strawberries contains fewer than 8 grams of natural sugar, which is intrinsically woven together with roughly 3 grams of dietary fiber.
I look at that ratio as sort of a metabolic cheat code.
Totally.
You get the intense, tart-sweet payoff that feels like an indulgence, but the metabolic profile is impeccably clean.
Right, and the mechanics of the glycemic index illustrate exactly why that specific ratio is so protective.
Break that down for us.
Sure. Consuming high-sugar fruits or processed sweets without a fiber matrix causes glucose to flood the bloodstream instantly. The pancreas detects this dangerous surge and pumps out a massive wave of insulin to force that glucose into the cells.
The classic sugar spike.
Exactly. That violent biological reaction is an insulin spike. And repeated over years, those constant spikes exhaust the cellular receptors, which leads directly to insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and systemic weight gain.
The classic sugar crash roller coaster.
Yeah.
But the physical structure of the strawberry prevents that cascade entirely.
Because the fiber acts as this complex cellular web. Since human digestion cannot break down dietary fiber, that web forms a physical barrier in the digestive tract.
Okay.
The stomach enzymes have to painstakingly dismantle that matrix just to access the 8 grams of sugar trapped inside.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, this severe delay in absorption turns what would be a violent, jagged spike of blood glucose into a gentle, rolling hill. Securing a profound antioxidant payload without suffering the metabolic consequences of a sugar spike is vital for long-term physiological stability.
So the fiber matrix manages our insulin response, and the water-soluble vitamin C neutralizes the immediate oxidative stress in our bloodstream.
Correct.
But the strawberry's most advanced biological defense mechanism doesn't actually come from its flesh or its fiber. It comes from the very thing that makes it look so appealing on a plate, which is the vibrant crimson pigment itself.
The anthocyanins.
Right. The deep red hue of the strawberry is generated by these highly specific polyphenols. But I mean, a plant isn't synthesizing intense red pigments just to look appetizing for our benefit. It is spending precious energy to create that color for its own survival.
Absolutely. Plants face this really unique evolutionary challenge. They're entirely rooted to the ground.
They can't run away.
Exactly. They cannot seek shelter from toxic environmental stressors, and they cannot hide from the constant damaging bombardment of ultraviolet radiation from the sun. A strawberry sitting in an open field all day would suffer catastrophic cellular damage if it didn't manufacture its own localized chemical defense system.
And that's the color.
Yes. Anthocyanins serve as that biological shield. The plant produces these polyphenols specifically to absorb UV radiation and protect its delicate cellular DNA from mutating under the sun.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because when we consume the strawberry, we are essentially hijacking the plant's proprietary defense system.
We are.
We are ingesting the exact botanical sunscreen and environmental armor the plant used to survive, and our bodies repurpose those same crimson compounds to armor our own cardiovascular network.
It's brilliant. The cellular defense is directly conferred to the human body. Clinical studies tracking habitual strawberry consumption demonstrate profound cardiovascular upgrades tied directly to the presence of these circulating anthocyanins.
What are they doing exactly?
Well, as they travel through the bloodstream, they actively seek out and lower low-density lipoprotein, so LDL cholesterol. This prevents those specific lipids from oxidizing and forming rigid plaques along the arterial walls.
But the protection extends far beyond just cholesterol management, right? Because the research points to a significant reduction in systemic inflammation, specifically targeting a marker known as C-reactive protein.
Yes, C-reactive protein, or CRP. It basically functions as a biological smoke alarm.
A smoke alarm.
Yeah, when your body is dealing with chronic systemic inflammation, which, by the way, we now understand is the fundamental root cause of almost every modern disease, your liver constantly pumps out CRP to signal that the vascular system is under duress.
And how do the strawberries help with that?
The anthocyanins from the strawberry step in like chemical diplomats. They circulate through the liver and the vascular network, actively cooling the inflammatory pathways and signaling the liver to just stand down and reduce CRP production.
Which brings us to the endothelium.
The endothelium is the single-cell thick inner lining of your entire vascular network. It isn't just a static pipe. It is a highly dynamic organ that expands and contracts.
Right.
Anthocyanins optimize endothelial function by protecting these delicate cells from oxidative damage, ensuring the blood vessels remain pliant and capable of dilating effectively. This elasticity naturally regulates blood pressure, allowing the vascular system to easily accommodate changes in blood flow without stress.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, a mundane choice like, slicing a few berries into a morning bowl of oatmeal ceases to be just a flavor preference.
Right.
It actually acts as a continuous vascular conditioner. You are introducing a daily dose of botanical armor that actively maintains the elasticity and robustness of your cardiovascular network over decades.
It fundamentally shifts how we view nutrition. We are moving away from the concept of passive calories and into the realm of active preventative medicine.
Absolutely. And if we have this highly conditioned elastic vascular network pumping pristine, nutrient-rich blood, we have to look at what happens when that protected blood flows up into our most complex, highly sensitive organ, the brain.
Yes. The neuroprotective data is arguably the most cutting-edge revelation in the source material.
The sources introduce a biological compound that completely shifts the paradigm of cognitive health, and that is physiatin.
Physiatine, yeah. It is another naturally occurring flavonoid, and strawberries are uniquely engineered to carry an exceptionally high concentration of it. While it possesses antioxidant properties, its primary function in the human body is operating as a potent senolytic agent.
Wait, senolytic. I am very familiar with antioxidants, but senolytic is a heavy scientific term that feels entirely new to me. What exactly is a senolytic compound doing inside the brain?
So, to understand a senolytic, we first have to understand cellular senescence. Throughout our lives, our cells endure constant wear and tear.
Right, naturally.
Right. And when a normal cell sustains too much damage to function properly, it initiates a brilliant biological protocol called apoptosis, which is programmed cell death.
Cool.
The damaged cell politely dismantles itself so the body can clear it away and replace it with a fresh, healthy cell. But as we age, this mechanism begins to fail. Certain damaged cells refuse to undergo apoptosis. They become senescent.
The sources casually refer to these as zombie cells.
And it is a frighteningly accurate biological description. Senescent cells have completely stopped dividing, and they no longer contribute to the health of the tissue, but they refuse to die.
You just hang around.
Yeah, they linger indefinitely in your tissues, and they accumulate heavily in the brain as we age. But they aren't just taking up space. They actively secrete a highly toxic cocktail of inflammatory chemicals, which is often called the senescence-associated secretory phenotype.
So they are essentially sitting in the neural pathways, actively poisoning the healthy neurons around them with this inflammatory cocktail.
Precisely. This localized neuroinflammation is the molecular engine of cognitive decline. It basically gunks up the neural pathways, degrades memory retention, and creates a highly toxic environment that accelerates aging in the brain.
So what does this all mean? Trying to visualize this microscopic process, I keep coming back to a specific analogy.
What's your...
Senescent cells are like that one guy at a house party who refuses to leave at 3 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
The party is over, everyone else is cleaning up, but this guy is just sitting on your sofa, eating your food, and suddenly he starts actively breaking your furniture and setting fires in your living room.
That is painfully accurate. And the problem is, you cannot simply ask a senescent cell to leave. The body's natural removal mechanism has already failed.
Right, so you need a biological intervention.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what fisetin provides.
Yes.
Fisetin operates as the cellular bouncer. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, specifically identifies those destructive zombie cells sitting on the neural sofa, and physically forces them into apoptosis. It chemically mandates the cell death that should have happened naturally, allowing the brain's internal cleanup crew to finally sweep away the inflammatory debris.
It's incredible, and this raises an important question regarding how we view cognitive longevity. Society tends to view mental decline as an inevitable, passive consequence of passing time.
Just getting older.
Right. But compounds like fisetin demonstrate that by actively clearing out senescent cells, we can rigorously defend our cognitive function. We can physically sweep our neural pathways clear of inflammatory debris. So when you combine the fisetin clearing out zombie cells with the water-soluble vitamin C protecting the neural membranes, the strawberry ceases to be a simple fruit. It is literal, active brain food.
Synthesizing this entire journey feels like unlocking a biological mystery. We started by revealing a deceptively structured, swollen stem covered in tiny dry fruits.
Which is still wild to me.
Right. Then we explored how its fiber matrix acts as a low-sugar metabolic cheat code. We discovered it's packed with plant sunscreen that physically conditions our blood vessels to remain elastic. And finally, we learned it deploys a specialized biological bouncer into the brain to clear out zombie cells and protect our memory.
It is a masterpiece of biochemical engineering. It just reinforces the critical concept that whole foods are not merely collections of macronutrients. They are complex matrices of biological information communicating directly with our cellular infrastructure.
Now, before you head to the farmer's market to secure crates of these dietary Trojan horses, the sources provided one incredibly vital practical application tip regarding storage and preparation.
Yes. Because the strawberry is a swollen floral receptacle rather than a true berry, its physical skin is highly porous.
Okay.
It lacks the thick, protective outer peel of, say, a banana or a citrus fruit. Due to this structural vulnerability, the sources strongly recommend purchasing organic varieties whenever your budget allows, just to minimize the absorption of agricultural pesticides.
Makes sense. But the most crucial tip, and this completely changed how I handle them in my own kitchen, is that you must only wash them right before you intend to consume them.
Yes, do not wash them when you get home. Introducing moisture to that highly porous skin triggers an immediate degradation process.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you bring them home, wash them in the sink, and then place them in the refrigerator, that lingering water breaks down the delicate chemical potency of the flavonoids and vitamin C, which causes the fruit to rot at a highly accelerated rate.
So you want to keep them entirely dry, keep them cold in the refrigerator, and only run them under the tap right before you are ready to deploy that nutritional payload.
Exactly. Preserve the molecular medicine until the exact moment you are ready to ingest it.
This deep dive completely shatters the illusion of the innocent spring garnish. It leaves you with a thought that is genuinely hard to shake.
What's that?
Well, if a common everyday piece of produce sitting in your refrigerator right now is secretly operating as a complex senolytic drug and an advanced cardiovascular conditioner, it makes you wonder, what other seemingly simple foods sitting in your kitchen pantry are hiding profound biological defense mechanisms, just waiting for you to unlock them?
That is a great question. The deeper we look into the structures we take for granted, the more complexity we find. There is always more to learn.
Definitely. Next time you see a strawberry, you aren't just looking at a sweet treat for surviving the winter. You're looking at a Trojan horse of longevity. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious out there.